Hello, everybody. My name is Franklin, and I'm really excited to talk to you today about my progress with my Spanish goals in 2020 versus 2019. Again, my name is Franklin, and this is first1000hours.com. So, we're going to go right into this presentation right now. I'm going to put on my screen what have I been doing in June 2020, and we're going to just see how it is. I'm going to just keep it real. All right, so here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that I've watched only 3 hours and 28 minutes of a Spanish course. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. And then also I've read 75 pages in El Ministerio de la Bondad, 5 pages in El Giro de Haxa Ridge, and 1 page in La Peregrina. So that brings my total of pages that I read to 81 pages in June of 2020. So I just want to let you know, what does that actually mean? So let's go on to the next slide here. That means that I have read a total of 665 pages in Spanish this year, and that is 338 in quarter number 1 and 327 in the second quarter. So I actually didn't read as many pages in the second quarter as I did in quarter number 1. All right, and then that means that I need to read, if I want to get up to my goal, and I should let you know what my goal is. Okay, my goal is to read 2,000 pages in Spanish and to also go through 200 hours of any type of Spanish course that I choose that is designed to teach me something outside of Spanish. All right, so let's look at what I still need to do. I still need to read 1,335 pages in Spanish and watch 172.75 hours of Spanish courses before 2020 ends. It's pretty big thing to still do, and we're halfway through this year. Can you imagine that? Some people think, based on a lot of things going on in the world, it's like, man, this year is over. No, we have 6 more months until 2020 actually ends. All right, so I wanted to compare that, what I did there with my other year, but I want to tell you some other things of how can I get up to this goal. If I watch 28.8 hours of Spanish courses per month, I'll meet my course goal. So it's continuing to increase because I need to take it a little bit more seriously. And if I read 222.5 pages of Spanish per month, I'll meet my year's reading goal. So how did I compare? When I look at 2019, reading in 2019 versus 2020. So I'll just let you know about that right now. I wanted to put up a video, but I just ran out of time. So I'll go ahead and put up a YouTube card here if you want to see what I was saying in 2019. But this is what I did in 2019, okay? In quarter number 2 of 2019, I read 406 pages in Spanish. And so in quarter number 1 and quarter number 2 combined, I had read 748 pages in Spanish, and that's more than reading 665 pages. So I actually, in terms of reading, I was doing better last year. Okay, so I just want to let you know about that. And so that's my progress. That's what I've done. One of the books I could tell you just briefly a little bit, like El Ministerio de Bondad, the English title of that is called Welfare Ministry. And I thought since a lot of things have happened in United States, I just went on a journey this month in June to kind of understand more about the Good Samaritan parable, and then like looking at who is my neighbor. And so I thought that the book Welfare Ministry, or Ministerio, El Ministerio de Bondad, was a good book for me to read, especially in these times. But I could talk maybe more about that at another time. But okay, so I wanted to also tell you about this. I finished my first LinkedIn learning course in Spanish. It's the first ever one I've done. So I'm going to show you my little certificate I got. And so hopefully I can just put that on the screen right now. And there you can see that. I took WordPress 5 Essential. And you can see right here that is, I hope you can see, I'll just expand this a little bit so that I know you can see. That is a 5-hour and 32-minute course. And so I just finished that. If you can see that right there, I finished that in June 30th, and that is actually today. And the reason why it is today is because I was like, I am not going to go through this. I'm not going to go and have to be accountable to you and talk to you about my progress and not have anything done. So or any further progress done in Spanish courses. I want to say hello, Alex. It's nice to see you here. I'm glad that you came here to the live stream here at First 1,000 hours. So if you have any questions about my progress, please feel free to ask me any questions. And one thing I did, and I was thinking, okay, how in the world can I go and go through all these courses, all these hours of courses? But I can honestly tell you that since like Sunday, I had all this time in June, but on Sunday, what I decided to do was like, okay, I need to really take some time and do this WordPress course and finish it, at least to finish a 5-hour course. And so I had already done like 2 hours and 4 minutes last month, and so I just did it. And so what I realized is that sometimes when I'm eating breakfast or lunch, I am watching YouTube videos. I like to learn about like YouTube strategy and marketing, but one of the reasons why I wanted to do a LinkedIn learning course, or at least to try it out, I don't have a recommendation for it yet, is because I wanted to do something in sequence. Because sometimes when you look at YouTube videos and you learn things here and there, it's nice, but I wanted to go and sequence and do something that's going to build up my knowledge in a certain area. And I personally like WordPress, and so I was like, why don't I do it in Spanish? And so I realized that there are pockets of time that I have where I could just use those time to do that. And I was like, okay, I had Sunday, I have a free day on Sunday, got to do some things there, even though I had other things I was doing. And then I had another meeting I had to attend and other stuff. But then even on Monday, I had, I was eating, I had breakfast and lunch, and instead of me just watching things I normally watch, I changed what I was doing. And then even right before this live stream, I was like, you know what? I'm going to finish that course. I'm going to finish that course. And that's what I did. And I feel like I have a little bit more momentum going into July with that type of ambition of looking at pockets of time. And I actually also was able to experiment a little bit with the Google Calendar as well. And I think that helped me to be able to write out things in the day. And I was thinking about, okay, what would I like to do in the day, by God's grace. And I think that helped me to realize how much time I actually had, because when I don't write things out during the day, sometimes I kind of lose a sense of time, and then the day just comes and ends. But when it's kind of, at least I have some goals or ambitions during the day, then it actually helps me to utilize my time more wisely, even if I don't complete everything on that list. And so that's what was able to happen by God's grace. All right, I want to look at Alex. Alex says, what's the biggest motivation do you have for learning Spanish? And I'll just say I have a lot of things. I'm going to answer that question. One of my motivations is I like to continue to learn things. That's one. I'm going to just tell you different ones. One of them is I don't want to be stagnant in my life. And so even though maybe you could say I'm past the college age or whatever, it does not mean that I need to have a stagnant mind. And so I just look, and I'm inspired by a book called Christ Object Lessons, as well as a parable of the talents. In Christ Object Lessons, it talks about the talents. And so I need to continue to cultivate myself for greater usefulness for the Lord. And so that's one of the biggest motivations I have. And there's a Bible text that says in like Revelation 14, it says the gospel is to go to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. And so that's one of the reasons I like Spanish. I've interacted with people that also know different languages. When I went to this school in Virginia, a Christian college in Virginia, and that expanded my mind on the fact that people know different languages. I was not really exposed to that so much being in Florida where I was, and I was like, you know what? This is something that is actually possible to do, and I had in the back of my mind I wanted to do that. And so you say, what are your July goals for Spanish? I'm going to be talking about that in a little bit in this presentation. And I'm staying well. I'm still kicking in there, and we're going to talk about staying well as well. That actually is part of this presentation. All right, so let's continue. All right, so you saw the little certificate, and now I'm just showing you a lot of different things. Okay, no, I'm on my screen, I mean. So let me go back to where I was. Okay, So I'm going to show you this presentation again, and we're going to continue. Okay. Sorry, I'm just having a little bit of technical difficulties. I need to show you the presentation, but there we go. Okay, so this is going to answer some of your question, I think. Alex, I'm going to talk about a scheduled challenge. This is one of my goals for myself is to, it's not like a specific goal, but it is for me to be on more of have more, pay more attention to my goals during the month instead of like getting to the end of the month and then forgetting, I mean, just remembering, oh yeah, I have this live stream I need to do and I need to talk to y'all and all this stuff. And so I want to be a little bit more focused and intentional. So I will have a bigger emphasis on schedules. And I think that that has been helpful for myself. And so I'm going to be talking about my experience with Google Calendar 2 weeks from now. I'm going to schedule a live stream for that, and you will be able to see that on First 1,000 Hours YouTube channel when that is scheduled. The other thing that I want to do is I want to give everybody a challenge, including you, Alex. And this is a challenge for July. That is a 5-day challenge from now until when that live stream goes in 2 weeks from now, 2 Tuesdays from now, for us to write down either on on an iPad, a computer, or on a piece of paper, whatever you prefer. I would like you to write down one thing you want to accomplish the following day. Like you can write it down like the night before or whatever, but write down one thing you want to accomplish the following day or even the same day, but do it before you have breakfast. Okay, because I think it's going to be important to have some sense of organization, and that just helps with time management. And even if it's not directly related to Spanish, I think when you are being a little bit more intentional with plans and goals, that's going to help you overall in putting that time in with your language learning goals. All right, so it's important to be organized and structured, I believe, in one sense. That's what people do that actually I think are successful with things in general. All right, ¿quieres hablar conmigo ahora? I'm gonna have an Ask Me Any. I will do a dedicated video about me speaking in Spanish. Okay, so I will have an update video on that. But I'm talking more about my plans with Spanish and updates right now. Okay, so I wanted to talk about why I'm keeping my goals. So that was one thing right here. Obviously, I'm behind in my goals right now, but I want to keep my goals. I said one time I was just, I'm just making these goals and then I kind of forget about them and I'm just giving these reports. But I think that I still have time to actually do a lot in 6 months, a lot more than what I have done in these first 6 months. But it's when I'm more focused during the day and during the day to day instead of when it comes more so down to the end of time. I mean, the end of the time. I'm thankful to be able to have accountability updates and things like that. But I know that I need to be. I know when I look at things from a day-to-day perspective, I think I can accomplish more. And I do read in Spanish as a daily habit. I know I could just put a little bit more time in that, but there are ways where I think I can still do that, and I will be having updates. Like I said, I'll have another update in July. And so what I want to do on this channel, and because I know I'm struggling a little bit with my goals since New Year's, is I want to have more of an emphasis, like I said, on schedule. So we're going to be having a video on that. And then also, I want to talk about that's dealing with planning as well. So we're going to have that about planning, and then also exercise. I think exercise is important as well, and I know that I've talked about some of my failures with that, and so exercise is important with planning and focus, and also I believe mental capacity and learning and all of that. So I'm actually going to do my first ever collaboration with someone that has a small YouTube channel, small but growing YouTube channel, that's a fitness and motivation, health and fitness motivational channel. And I think that it's going to be nice to do a little collaboration with that person. And you'll know more about that probably around the middle of July. We're planning on doing a live stream here at First 1,000 Hours. And so I see Alex, And Alex says, necesitamos practicar un poco. Okay, so it's important to continue to practice in Spanish and to continue to put yourself in that all Spanish environment. So I understand what you're talking about, having that need to practice. And so I think we need to have a focus, a strategy, a plan, and it can be modified a little bit. Even if you mess up, you don't finish everything, at least, one thing I like about what I'm trying to do is, even though I make mistakes, I'm continuing to go forward. And that's what I want to encourage you to do, Alex, as well as anybody that's watching this. We have already passed the 6 months basically. Now let's kind of look at our plans a little bit more and keep on going forward. And I think that we're going to get we can get to a further level than maybe we think is possible. All right, and I think that's all I have on my presentation. Let's see, that's it. I'm going to put on the screen a video of what I was talking about last year. This time, my quarter progress report and second quarter progress report in 2019. And there also will be a video that YouTube recommends. And I hope to see you in the next video.